The World Cup opener is a week from tomorrow. Mexico hosting South Africa. Let's bring in Sounders head coach Brian Schmetzer. It is great to have you on the show with us, Coach. Thanks for being with us. We'll get his audio. There he is.
Media in Seattle. Always take time to help you guys out and talk soccer, talk World Cup.
Yeah, man, it's great to see you. I know the Sounders and the rest of Major League Soccer are on an unprecedented 7-week break for the World Cup. Listen, how do you handle that as a coach?
Well, we got 2 preseasons, so we've got the fitness guys working on a little bit of a mini off-season workout for the guys right now, and then they'll come back and we'll do a 2-week, 3-week ramp up to get ready, because look, it doesn't get very easy. The first game back after the World Cup is our dreaded nemesis from down south, the Portland Timbers. So it's going to be a good game to start the second half of the year.
Hey, what do you make of the first part of the year, Coach? I know you mentioned it in your last press conference. It didn't end as you wanted to, but when you look back, you still had an incredible first run. And where do you go from there?
Look, overall, Chris, I think it was a successful year, 7-3-3. Yeah. That's look, the last couple of games, that last week, we dropped some points for sure. But the defense has been very strong. We're working on some of the goal scoring stuff. And, we're right in the thick of it. We've got a couple games in hand. Now, games in hand sometimes are tricky because you actually have to win those to catch up. But we've got some opportunity there to creep up higher in the standings for sure.
One of your players is not getting a whole lot of rest, that being Christian Roldan, 45 international cups. He's going to be playing for the U.S. World Cup team. You get the pleasure to watch Christian play a whole lot of soccer. In your mind, what makes him so special as a soccer player?
Well, character, effort, application of training. He's a smart soccer player, a really nice young man. We couldn't be more proud of him. When we drafted him, that story is still a good one. Garth Lagerwey at the time, we were down in 18th or 19th spot in the draft, and we wanted Christian, and Garth worked the whole room. He had to go to like 10 different teams to get him because his stock had dropped a little bit in the draft. But we knew even back then, because we scouted him when he was playing for the Huskies, and we knew exactly what we were getting, and he's had a tremendous career, collegiate level, professional level, and this World Cup, the 2022 as well. This is icing on the cake for Christian and the Sounders organization.
Hey, Brian, let's stick with the U.S. men's national team and the draw they have in group play. They get Paraguay, Turkey, and Australia here at Lumen Field. What do you think of the matchup for the U.S. men's team? Because, listen, the last 4 years getting ready for this World Cup has been a real challenge for this team.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of hype. Was this the golden generation, the pressure from the fans, the subtle pressure? Because look, nowadays you can't escape social media. So those players are kind of listening, and, there's a subset of fans that, are negative and they don't like the results. But look, they had a positive result the other day, and they're going to play against Germany for their final tune-up game for the U.S. But tough group. Now, they've handled Paraguay before. Australia has some really talented players, and Turkey, it's not going to be a slam dunk just for them to get out of the group in first place. What I loved about the team, though, is that Pochettino got them going with the right amount of mentality. You guys have been around me long enough to know that I think duels and mentality and never quit and fighting, that's sort of the Sounders kind of way. And I'm glad that the American players and the coaching staff for the national team, they're buying into that. And that's what I think could take the U.S. on home soil in front of the, what are going to be really good crowds. That's going to get them going.
Yeah, you mentioned good crowds, and yes, Paul and I have worked with you for a while, and you are on my Mount Rushmore of Seattle coaches, and I know Joel Knipp, our producer, has his top 5 Sounders coming up. You are number 1 on my list. I'll just go ahead and put that out there right now.
It's like a teacher's pet, man.
Well, I am. I'm trying to get an A, Paul, but I'm going to just say this.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian has been around soccer his entire life, coaching, playing, and there's a reason why this sport is so big in the Pacific Northwest. So I'm leading you into the World Cup. And the World Cup being here in Seattle, and the U.S. will be playing here. Kind of a two-part question. How big is that match going to be on a Friday night? And just as somebody that just is so invested in soccer and in the Pacific Northwest, what does it mean to have the World Cup here in Seattle?
Well, it's going to be a great occasion, event. You know, it's like the Super Bowl. It's such a big deal. You know, I always tell people a story of, you know, my own experience there. So back in '94, and I got to do a mea culpa because I've always had the teams kind of wrong. I had a gold and blue team, and I thought it was Sweden, but I had to look back on the internet which game I actually went to because that's how old I am. But we were down in Stanford Stadium, and we were watching Brazil play Russia, and 2 opposite countries, but it was great. And you know, the people coming out of the stadium, people coming together. And then we watched USA versus Colombia down in the Rose Bowl, 100,000 people. The U.S. won that game 2-1. I mean, those experiences are still with me. And I just hope that people will come to Seattle, which in June, it's going to be beautiful out here. The weather's going to be great. And just have the same kind of life-changing experiences of what they saw or what they're going to see.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, NBA fans are often asked Jordan or LeBron. Present-day soccer fans are asked Ronaldo or Messi. They're both awesome. I personally lean toward Ronaldo. I like the power players with all the athletic ability. Messi, more of a finesse guy. But how about you?
Well, it's an interesting dilemma because you said it, Paul. I mean, Ronaldo was maybe a better athlete, you know, taller, good in the air, you know, fast. Messi's tricky. He's got skills, technical ability. Well, you know, their technical ability is probably the same. You've got 8 Ballon d'Or winner. That's Messi. I think Ronaldo only got 5. But to me, the way I look at it, Messi was able to push Argentina over the line in 2022 in Qatar to actually win the World Cup. And I think that's the only thing that Ronaldo does not have on his resume. And I'm sure that's eaten at him. And, you know, Portugal's always been a decent team, maybe a dark horse in the running, but certainly what Messi did 4 years ago puts him probably just a little bit ahead of the curve for me. And look, he plays in MLS, and we beat him in the Leagues Cup last year. So, you know, I like Messi.
Okay, so you're right. Messi's got his 1 cup. Ronaldo's 41 years old. He's coming back with Portugal, which is currently ranked, I think, 5th in the FIFA standings.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if maybe he can find some magic and win his first World Cup. So go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was just going to say, I was going to echo Brian. I mean, Messi was outplayed by Paul Rothrock, Paul. I was there. I watched it. I saw it up close. I mean, come on. Rothrock's got better hair. He played better on that day, Paul.
Yeah, on that day, on any given day. But look, Ronaldo's a tremendous player. Messi, we're talking about the 2 best, LeBron or Michael. You know, I get it. It would be icing on the cake for Ronaldo to have a deep run into this World Cup, you know, and then it'll keep the argument going on for a few more years.